The gentlewoman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I know the hour is late, but I feel like something important is going to happen tonight. There is a candidate who is the unanimous choice of the Richmond delegation for the 13th Judicial District, Tracy Thorne-Begland. This is a candidate who went through the vetting process, who came before the Courts of Justice Committee with his questionnaire, with delegation standing behind him, who the Courts Committee had the opportunity to ask questions, asked a few, who was certified by the Courts Committee, and yet now, a few days before he was to be voted on, questions have been raised about his character, his record, and his qualifications. If you ask any member of the bar or the criminal justice system, except maybe defendants, judges, the police, they will tell you that Tracy is the kind of qualified, hardworking, dedicated person who should be on the bench. He's one of the best prosecutors in the state. But questions have been raised about his military record, what he may or may not have done 20 years ago. What he did not do 20 years ago was violate the Uniform Code of Military Justice. What he did do 20 years ago was tell the truth. Tracy was willing to fight and die for his country, but he was not willing to lie for the privilege and lie about who he was. Tracy was honorably discharged from the military for telling the truth. But when Tracy was discharged from the military, he was awarded a Navy Achievement Medal because he showed up every day, gave his job and his country all that he had, even though he knew that by telling the truth, he could lose his job. But his service was so appreciated that his boss nominated him for a Medal for Outstanding Service, which was awarded by the United States Navy. But 20 years later, after he told the truth, and the military and the country have moved on from a question of whether you can be discriminated against for being who you are, some people are still hung up on it. Since leaving the military, Tracy went to law school and has spent the past 15 years becoming one of the best prosecutors in the city. Now, he's been criticized for disagreeing with, publicly, the Attorney General, Attorney General Cuccinelli, on whether or not Virginia universities can discriminate. But you know who else disagreed with the Attorney General on that? Governor McDonald. And if disagreeing with the Attorney General publicly about an issue of discrimination or any other issue disqualifies someone from the bench, I dare say many of the people who have been appointed throughout history and probably today would not be appointed. We have two people we're going to vote for today who spent a career and a different kind of service in this body, taking positions publicly on all kinds of issues. Some would say they were advocates. When Tracy wrote to Chairman Albo, or the gentleman from Fairfax and the gentleman from Richmond, sending in his resume and questionnaire, he outlined his judicial philosophy. And he said, "I believe the distinction between the role of a prosecutor and that of a district judge is well illustrated by an incident between two great jurists, Oliver Wendell Holmes and Learned Hand. It is said that one day, as the two colleagues were parting following a luncheon, Judge Hand called out to Justice Holmes, 'Do justice, Mr. Holmes, do justice.' And Justice Holmes stopped, turned, and replied to Judge Hand, 'That is not my job. My job is to apply the law.' Chief Justice Roberts describes the role of a judge as an umpire. Judges don't make the rules. Like umpires, they enforce them. The role of a judge is a limited one. It is not to present a case for a party. It is to call balls and strikes by applying the law. There may be circumstances that I will face as a judge where I may disagree with existing statutes or interpretations of those statutes by a higher authority. Nonetheless, my decisions will be guided by and faithful to the constitutions, the law, and case authority of the Commonwealth and the United States. I understand my role as a district court judge will be to apply the law." Today, Governor McDonnell said we should look at a judicial candidate's qualifications and issues of who they are, be it race, sex, or sexual orientation, should not matter. I agree with the governor on that. The Richmond delegation was unanimous behind Tracy when his name was first put forward, and now, because we think he is the best qualified candidate to be on the General District Court. And yet there are some who say he's not qualified simply because he told the truth about who he was, which many people believe was the right thing to do. He has been vindicated that that was the right thing to do. He's not going to be a judicial activist on the bench. He will apply the law to the facts before him. And I hope that fear or bigotry or an ignorance of the facts or of the person will not cloud anybody's judgment today. We know Tracy in the city of Richmond and in our delegation. We have seen him come to work every day and do what is in the best interest of the criminal justice system for the city. We know he will do the same on the General District Court. Do not say to him, 20 years after he lost one job because he told the truth, that now he's not qualified for another simply because of that. And for that, I really hope that you will support this appointment. Thank you.
The gentleman from Richmond City, Mr. LaPazzi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rise to speak to the resolution.
The gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would concur with the gentlelady from